PAX, Journey Home, Chapter 3. PAX paced. The last week had been warm, but tonight the midnight air sparkled with frost. A full moon tugged at him, but Bristle's pull was stronger. She'd entered the den below the shed at dusk, her belly swaying. PAX had heard her circling, trying to settle, then digging at the floor, then circling again. He had poked his snout in once when he heard her panting with effort, but she growled at him, "Do not enter, but stay near." Since then he'd patrolled the ground around the shed in the broad saucer of meadow, greening with new shoots in front of it. For hours he'd encountered no intruders, but now he heard the approach of a familiar gait. Bristle's brother moved with an odd 3-footed roll after losing a hind leg in the spring before. But he'd become a fine hunter. His eyes and ears seemed to have sharpened to compensate for the loss of quickness, and now he emerged from the brush with a fat quail in his jaws, while he dropped at the den entrance. Runt's ears pricked towards the rustling inside. Before PAX could warn him, he ducked in. PAX heard a hiss, and a few seconds later Runt stumbled out backwards, whimpering. He slunk off to flop down at the base of an oak a safe distance away. PAX followed and lay down beside Runt. Runt curled his tail over his snout and closed his eyes, but PAX stayed alert, gaze trained on the den. He would not try to enter until Bristle invited him. He had encountered her sharp teeth before, but he felt a need to protect her tonight. As dawn began to lighten the sky, a blood-scent drifted over. PAX flew to the den. A wet heat rose into the cold air. The blood it carried was not from a wound, not from death. This was lifeblood, pulsing and new, and it demanded his presence. He darted inside. Bristle was licking 3 squirming bodies. The kits were dark and slick. As his eyes adjusted, PAX saw tiny legs stretched out from the pile. Tiny pink paws curled, tiny pink noses wriggled, and tiny pink ears flicked with new life. Bristle purred, "Ours. Safe." PAX dropped to the floor and curled himself around his family. 3 tiny hearts beat into his own. Safe. Ours.